Hey, everybody, welcome back to Let's Talk Tattoo. We got a little guest for you today. I want to introduce Darby Valentine. She likes to do some really weird, odd tattoos. She's down in the city area, the big city. So, hey, how you doing today, Darby?
I'm good. How are you doing, Mark?
A little chaotic this morning. I got a lot going on. We talked about that a little bit. I'm kind of trying to catch up to myself, but all in all, I woke up, so it makes it a good day. So, you say you tattooed down in the Queens and the Brooklyn area, right?
Yeah, down kind of like Bushwicky if you're in the know of that stuff.
I'm
Yeah.
not. No, I avoid big cities, kind of like I avoid diseases, plagues, things like that. I like cities for like an afternoon. I just can't spend any time in them. Too much chaos for me.
Yeah, no, but I tattooed two places in Midtown Manhattan is the crazies. Brooklyn's a little more chill. Queens, Brooklyn, it's chill.
Cool, cool. And how long you been tattooing, Darby?
I'm going into my sixth year now.
You're
Yes.
still a baby.
Yeah, tatter talk.
And that's okay because you're six. That's when I like to talk to people again. I always joke about the fact that I love learning tattoo artists like apprentices. I love them, and I really enjoy talking to artists in like the 1 to 3 year category.
Yeah.
The 5 year artist, I generally try and avoid because that's when it's almost like an adolescence period for a lot of them where they know enough to be dangerous and get cocky and mouthy and attitude. And so, like the 3 to 5 year artists, I don't like to communicate with that much. You know, I mean, if they're still cool, I will, but like I like to avoid them during that period. So, welcome back to reality.
Yeah.
And now you're a human again. That's cool.
That's honestly so real though, because I was brought up by old heads, so I always was like, I'm never gonna be like that. And then I definitely had like that year when I was like 4 years in, where I definitely thought I was hot shit for a little bit too much.
Yeah. I mean, and there's nothing wrong with it. I always say that. It's a natural, it's a natural progress, you know? So, it's like, you can't skip puberty,
Yeah.
it's like
Oh yeah.
everybody's got to go through. The fact is, I get to pick and choose who I want in my circle, and I don't want those people in my circle for that period of time. And then you come back and life is good. If you make it through that turmoil in that point.
I think that's also a big part of being in that year. I think that space of time is when you see people either dedicate the rest of their life to it or they're completely gone and they become the people that go, oh, when I used to tattoo.
Yeah. Yeah, those are the good ones. There's too many of them. I mean, it always sounds silly because like a lot of my perspective a lot of my perspective about the tattoo industry come from being a tattoo artist and somebody who's loved the craft for decades and decades now. And they kind of don't coincide with being a supplier and a sales guy because like I've always said that 90% of the people who are tattooing shouldn't, and then they should just go away. Even if
Yeah,
they okay, they're in it for the wrong reasons. They're in it for
100%.
yeah, they're in it because it's a job or they get to meet chicks or they want money or whatever it is. But like I want to hang out with the people who are the diehards, the ones that are going to be here on the decline, and even when it crashes, it's just a passion. So
Yeah. No, that's the like, you don't live to work thing. But I tell people, I'm like, no, I live to tattoo. Like, I live to tattoo. I do.
well, I mean, you kind of have to. You look like you dedicated yourself pretty heavily, which is it's totally cool. I committed to not doing my hands, my face, or my neck like a long time ago because I'm into real estate. I'm into other things. I've got to deal with some really, we'll call them pretentious douchebags at times, to keep it polite. But yeah, I committed to not doing that. But I absolutely love it, and I think in an altered dimension somewhere, I definitely would. But
I think it's also like it is like a generational thing too. Cause most older tattooers I know, they do not have their hands, neck, and face, and they don't want to. And obviously, they don't like have problems with it. It's just like definitely like this gap thing because I feel like everyone else I meet who's a young tattooer is also just covered visibly as much as they can be.
Yeah, you just called me old. Thank you so much.
Oh, sorry.
But no, you're right, and it's like I like to see the memes out there where you see older tattooers and they're just generally covered, like not even really sleeves sometimes, like the short
Uh,
sleeves. And then in the say the late 80s and 90s, you saw people with their torso not tattooed and just sleeves and leg sleeves or calves and stuff like
yeah,
that. And now,
yeah,
yeah, it's like a whole different stage, a whole different step where the neck and the face and the hands are really sort of dominating this era a little bit, which it's time. Yeah, it's just different times.
yeah,
Different
100%.
nations go. I guess I don't know. That's if you're getting them for the right reasons and you're doing them for the right reasons, you don't have to justify it to anybody. As far as I'm concerned,
100%.
I try not to judge, even though I get a little judgy. If they're
Everyone
like,
knows.
yeah, you can't be human and not judge. But so, anyways, let's talk about you, Darby. Well, 6 years now. You started down in the city, or where'd you
I
start at?
actually started in South Florida.
Wow.
Yeah, which is way different tattoo culture than like New York. I would say South Florida is still like very old school. Like I was brought up by like old head tattooers. Like, it is none of this like, oh, I work 3 days a week and I'm like booked out 3 months and you have to like jump through hoops to see me. Like I worked in street shops where I had someone walking up to me being like, this is what you're tattooing on that guy right there. And you just go, okay, yes, I am.
No, it's called making a living, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
There's, I mean, I like, I own my own shop, and luckily, I did get to pick and choose who I tattooed and
yeah,
when I tattooed. But at the same time, my favorite tattoos are always the little bangers, the little
yeah,
spontaneous little in and out. Made a little cash and made somebody happy, gave them what they wanted, sent them on their way, and I mean. And the truth is, you can make a lot of money doing little tattoos.
100% you can. Yeah, no,
Less,
I tell people that.
you know, with a lot less stress, a lot less. Yeah, I mean, I know people have spent just as much, if not more, time on creating the art projects as they do the actual physical tattooing, and some of them get paid for the whole period, but like most of them can't charge for, you know,
No,
just the artwork and the research and all that. So it just depends on what area you're in. Like you said, it's totally different cultures in different parts of the world. So
yeah.
let, let's see. So, okay, so you started in South Florida. When did you move up to New York City area?
I moved here in, I want to say 2022. I lost everything I owned in a hurricane.
Oh,
So,
damn.
yeah, so I was just like, I'd been coming to New York for like 2 years at that point. So it's just like, I'm just moving. I'm just leaving.
You were doing guest spots up there or visiting or what?
Yeah, I think guest spots and visiting. I unfortunately, like, I came here the first time and I was like, wow, I love it. I only want to be here. I want to die here. So it kind of just made the move easier.
Yeah, like I said, a lot of people I know are attracted to the cities. I live in a town of about 200 people or so, and built on the side of a mountain. And the neighbors I see are family, so it's just kind of I prefer that.
Yeah,
Tractor mountains and things like that. So cities, like I said, they're fun to visit, but I can't stay long because it just drives my blood pressure up. Everybody's like,
100%.
hustle, go, bumping, impolite. It's all that's like I can only tolerate that for so long, and then I want to hurt somebody. So
Yeah. No, I totally understand. I was in Europe like 2 weeks ago and I literally was like, wow, people are chill on public transit. Like people just calmly walk and don't yell and scream and hit each other.
yeah, yes, there is another world out there. Uh, like I said, I stay out of the cities for too long because I would be one of those people that would just freak out on people after a certain point. But okay, so moved up to New York. Let's just ask you here real quick. When did you first hear about needle jig, or what was your first exposure to me and needle jig?
Down when I was in South Florida, I was bitching that there was I'll name them fine. So I was just like, I don't know if I should. They just never had them in stock. I used to tattoo with Cat Soul Envies or whatever, And I would keep going to reorder, and they never had anything. Like every time, no fail. And finally, my body piercer at the shop was like, "Oh, one of the old artists here used to tattoo with needle jig. Maybe give them a go." And I went on the website, and I was immediately like, "Ooh, I like the logo." I was like, I'm a tattoo artist. I'm simple. I'm like, "Ooh, black and red." And I was like, "Cool. They have everything in stock. They have tight, they have standard, they have bolds, they have bug pins, they have like round shaders." I was like, "Okay, cool. I'm gonna try this out." And then I bought a box that was probably in 2020. I've never bought a single different needle company straight up. Never have. I was just like, great, these work in tattoo, amazing. And they're always in stock. Like, I have no reason to ever use anything else. And I haven't.
Well, we do occasionally run out of something, but don't, I mean,
Yeah.
hit us up if that happens to you. But like for the most part, we try really hard to make sure we have what you need, especially when it comes to needles. I mean, I've been doing needles longer than anybody else in the business at this point in time. The people that were doing needles on a small scale, because I mean, I was right there in the beginning of when people started importing needles. So the only people that are selling pre-made needles when I started really were companies like Spalding and Rogers, National, and they were hand making, hand soldering needles here in the state. You were paying multiple dollars per needle on bar. You were buying in 5 packs, not a box of 50, things like that. So, and at one point we made 144 different needles on bars. So it was ridiculous.
Whoa.
Think of. So we had to get away from that there, scale that back a little bit, especially once we got into O-ring cartridges and then membrane cartridges and something new coming. I'm not telling. That's it. Little teaser.
Okay.
But anyways, we do have something new coming. But yeah, needles is what I do. It's
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a nerd, so figuring out the science behind needles was a rabbit hole I went down back when I was tattooing early on, and basically because I'm lazy and I wanted to make my job easier, I wanted to make my work more solid. But anyways, enough of that salesy bullshit stuff or whatever. So tell us a little bit about what you like to do. I know you like to do the odd stuff, the creepy stuff and whatnot, but what would you do if you could do the same thing pretty much every day, all day? What style do you love the most?
I mean, I love black work the most. Subject wise, we joke about it. I'm a simple pea brain tattooer. I love to tattoo a skull. I really do. I love to tattoo a big, nasty skull. If I could just do big, nasty skulls all day, I would be more than happy.
Nothing wrong with that. I mean, like little pork choppy flash. Like I said, I just love the stuff. I love the the traditional styles and designs, but it doesn't even need to be a traditional style and design. It could be any simple design. Just kind of as long as it's done well, as long as it's put in solid, I'm happy with it.
Yeah, 100%. That's why I'm like, nowadays with style too, you see the guys that'll do like two different styles, and the one tattoo will be like half American traditional, the other half's like hyper realism. It's just like you can do anything nowadays. I just like big, nasty, creepy stuff. Again, simple pea brain tattooer.
I wouldn't go that far. I think you do some solid work. You're still a young artist, though. You got a long way to go. Imagine what you're going to be doing, at your 10-year point and your 15-year point.
Yeah.
And then sooner or later you'll be old and cranky like me and other older tattoo artists. So that's what you got to look forward to.
No, I'm excited. I keep making that joke. I'm like, what if one day, because you see those guys, I'm like, what if one day I just get really into doing photorealism out of nowhere?
Perfectly allowed. I mean, for the most part, you've got to follow your own path as an artist. And to be honest with you, you're still learning. I'm still learning.
Oh, yeah. 100%. Everyone's still learning. I think the second you sit there and you try to say there's nothing more to learn, you mastered the craft, you've mastered anything in your entire life. I'm like, that's the day you start declining. Because like you're a student until the day you die.
Yeah, I same sort of thing. I've always said that is like, if I knew it all, I wouldn't be here. There would be nothing to keep me here, nothing to learn, no goals, no ambitions, no nothing, So that's part of me connecting with other artists and stuff like this is too, because like, even a younger artist like yourself, I can learn something from you. You have some insight that I'm going to appreciate, and it's just I don't know. That's the cool part of hanging out talking to other artists.
100%. No, we my one studio, we just had Toxic come in and tattoo, and he's a really big like bio guy. And he came in and he said the same thing to me. He's been tattooing for like 16 years. He's like, I love being with other artists and talking to other artists. I can always learn something from someone.
Yeah, and sometimes it's what not to do, and it's sometimes you're learning who you don't want to hang out with. But at the same time, that's just part of life. That's
Yep.
just learning, growing, sharing. There's good lessons, there's bad lessons. But yeah, Toxic's pretty cool stuff. Are you still doing? Do you do a lot of shows? Do you do conventions? Or you just got back from Europe? What do you do for
Yeah.
travel?
I actually just got into doing conventions, and like I don't I've been around a lot of older tattooers who they are like over it with conventions, so they're like screw conventions, da 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 da. So I did my first one. I did Philly, and I placed in I think what I got third place most unusual. So that was cool. So now I'm kind of like on this high of conventions where I'm like, oh, I like this. And being able to talk and meet people. Cause it's just like it's great because I think if you have a room of tattooers, if you actually like again, you're like in this for life, you immediately have some sort of connection and bond with them no matter what. Because you all have like essentially the same love. So you can be in a room with a bunch of people you have nothing else in common with and you can still have a great time.
Yeah, no, like if Philly was your first tattoo, I mean that's rough because Philly hurts. I love Troy, and I did all Troy shows for well over a decade, and I want to say Philly was cool. It was a lot of money there, a lot of people, a lot of good conversations, but that was work. I mean
It's
that's long
crazy.
days of just grinding.
Yeah, it was brutal. And that's what everyone told me. They're like, this is your first one. Also, just scale of it because of how big it was. And I was like, go big or go home, I guess.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, I that's a cool show. Definitely should. The Philly show, Troy's Chicago show, Minneapolis show. Those are my three favorites from Troy. I haven't done the main show because they just started that one a couple years ago. I think that's going on this weekend. People I know that still tour constantly, like they say they love that one. But I'm getting back to uh, little shows where I'm hanging out with small shows that seem to be kind of like a good 50-50 divide between cranky old guys like me and young guys that want to be cranky old guys like me. Uh, Start doing my what's the point needle seminar at some of those, and just meeting young people that are more drawn to, let's say, tattoo traditions. I mean, the big shows are cool; they're awesome, and that's great promotion for the industry. But I want to be able to have meaningful conversations with people and not just exchange my time for money anymore. So I guess I'm in a different stage in life. So consider both. Pick up some little tiny shows, like just smaller ones that are put on. If you do a small show, make sure it's put on by a tattooer. Make sure it's been
Yeah.
going for a number of years, and there's a little bit of a buzz about it. But those are my jam these days, anyways.
Yeah, no, that's what I said. I was like, this was nice, but this was a lot. And then a lot of the guys were telling me like, oh no, like you need to go to like yeah, like Maine and stuff. I'm pretty sure someone told me Maine in particular, like they're like that's like the sweet spot for a convention.
Mhm. Yeah, like I said, I can't speak for that one, but a lot of my friends have traveled with me through the years. They absolutely that's becoming one of their favorites for sure. So, but like last year, I did a couple of Tony Urbanic shows. That's who he does. I did a little one up in Lansing, Michigan. Let's see, locally, there's one coming up next month in Sturbridge, Mass. That Joe and Irene Pearson from Zaza put on. That's been going on for a long time, and that is a small but kind of old school family type of get drunk, eat good, and then swap stories type of event, which I absolutely love. So it's
Yeah,
only a couple hours north of you. Maybe you come up and just stop in.
I would actually love to, if I'm so honest. I very much like I love to sit and listen. I'm like a geek about tattooing. Like I have like everyone's books. I have even the old school like DVD cassettes and stuff. Like I love listening to everyone just talk about like their experiences.
Wow, you're hurting me here. This old school DVD.
Sorry.
ouch.
Real. That's fair.
I call you, but my phone cord don't reach this far. How old are you, Darby?
I'm 25.
Okay, so you are pretty much still a baby. That is awesome. That is really cool. So, all right, let's see. All I really know about you, I mean, for the people are out there, like I've never met you, right? I
Yeah.
don't think or anything, and today's our first interaction with each other, whatever. So, maybe a message or two along the way, and then checking out your Instagram or whatever, which is just really focused on, like I said, more simple black work tattoos, small stuff, and just trying to make people happy. So, what are your future goals? Well, do you have anything else you want to try? Because I mean,
I
mention.
mean, I'm trying to do a lot more big scale stuff. I've done like, like chests and things like that, but like I want to start. That's what I've been drawing. I've been drawing a series of like 5 full body back pieces. I'm like hand painting to try to, do those. I want to start doing just really, really big, nasty, crazy stuff because I tattoo for a living, so like I primarily do black work, but like if you go on my Instagram, so much like full color American traditional, full color Japanese traditional. Like I tattoo what comes through the door. So I would like to kind of be able to focus more on doing big stuff that I really personally would love to do, but I'm always just happy to tattoo. But I want to do big nasty stuff. I want to be able to do more conventions, travel more. Like I think I'm doing a guest spot in LA in like a month or two. Like just I just want to do more. Again, I live to tattoo.
Right. Well, cool. I just figured I'd give you a little bit of a platform here to tell people what you want. Because if people see this and they find out, hey, I like her work and she wants to do something right up my alley, they might get in touch with you and whatnot. So while we're thinking about that, why don't you just tell people what's the best way to get a hold of you? And we'll put it in the comments below too. But
The best way to get a hold of me is always going to be Instagram. I am at Valentine Inks. I'm constantly on Instagram, so that's the best way to get a hold of me. If you want any big, scary, black work, nasty, weird, like, I just throw the weirdest, crazy sentence you can throw at me, and I would be more than happy to tattoo it on you.
well, there you go. That's cool. So okay. So you just did your first convention. We got a guest spot coming up in LA. What are your other plans for this year, 2025? We're all going to kill it this year, right? That's what I keep hearing.
I keep hearing that as well, so I hope we keep killing it. Yeah, no, I just again, my goals are I want to make a lot more like I want to make like a tattoo family here in New York. I have a really strong tattoo family in Florida, so I want to have like my New York tattoo family. I want us to go together, go to conventions, have fun. I would love to do collab tattoos. I've been seeing everyone's doing collab tattoos a lot lately. I would love to work on a large scale piece with another tattooer that, we really mesh together and like have good flow with, I guess.
Okay. Okay. What's your art background? I didn't ask that before. I asked a little bit about how you got started. So do you have a formal art background, or you just been an artist all your life?
I've been an artist my entire life. I come from a family who can't even draw stick figures, but since I was a child, I've only ever been focused on art. I did go to like fine arts high school and focused on that, and then I'm dropped out. But I also do like large scale gallery or oil painting, like I do live painting and stuff like that separately from tattooing. So if I'm not tattooing, I am making art. If it's drawing, if it's painting, if it's like sculpting, like I've always just had this hyper fixation with art.
Okay. Well, that was my next question: is do you dabble in any other mediums, or what do you like to do? So obviously, like large scale oil paintings, or subject matter. You said life art.
Yeah, I do. Again, it same when it comes to paintings. I paint a lot of like really dark, nasty guts, butcher scenes, or I'll do a lot of really hyper Catholic religious imagery too, because I was raised Irish Catholic. So it's either like a butchered cow or like Jesus on the cross, usually.
Nothing in between, huh?
No. Yeah, I keep that line very hard.
All right, very cool, very cool. All right, well, it's been great getting to know you here. Like, what you got? Anything else you want to add, or what do you want? Anything? Do you have any questions for me? How does that sound? That's something I just started doing is trying to ask people because like we get going and everything. I'm like, man, I'm like, do you have any questions for me? What do you want to know?
Is there one thing you think every young tattoo artist should know and take to with them for the rest of their career, like one piece of advice?
Uh, One piece of advice is just if you can, try and stay humble. Kind of like how we started off there a little bit there. Try and stay humble. Like you said, we are just tattoo artists. We're not solving the world's problems. We might be helping people on an individual basis, but for the most part, yeah, try and stay humble and try and be respectful of and listen to the people that were there before you. That's kind of like a secondary piece. But if you can stay humble and a decent human, you'll be fine. You know, if you're in it for the right reasons, you'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah, sounds good. I totally agree.
Is that a satisfying answer? Does it leave you
No,
hanging?
it is. No, that's totally a satisfying answer.
Okay. I mean, it's the best one I've got, really. I mean,
Yeah.
we could talk about art and technique and all these other things or whatever, but it all comes down to, in my mind, at this stage of the game, there's good humans, there's bad humans. Try and be one of the good ones. That's what it is because everything else is insignificant in
Yeah.
comparison. So that's what
No,
I like.
yeah, totally agree. I say that all the time. I'm like, there's so many good tattoo artists now. So now it is coming down to like, what are you like as a human?
Mhm. Yeah, and meet as many of those good artists as you can, and also don't be afraid to judge them and ignore some of them because some of them aren't good humans. So,
Yeah, in New York, I know that.
well, and that's like another thing, topic I touch on regularly is like I know some of the most amazing tattooers around the planet, and they're also amazing human beings, good humans or whatever. But I've been doing this for a day or two now, and throughout my years, I've definitely met people who I idolized from a distance, and you met them and found out they were
Yeah, not so awesome.
not worth knowing, and it's just like it's a huge letdown and disappointment. But the good news is there's so many damn tattooers now that you don't need to know them all and like them all. But it just is what it is. But yeah, um, absolutely enjoyed talking with you, and
Yeah,
yeah, get
had a
you on
great time.
sometime soon. I mean, like I said, I think it's mid March or late March is the Massachusetts Tattoo Arts Festival. Little plug for Joe and Irene there. Although this probably maybe won't be live by then, but anyways, if you want to drive up north a little bit or whatever, hang out with some grumpy old bastards and swap old tattoo stories and you know I know that type of scenario. It's probably if you probably do more listening than you do talking, which is never a bad thing. But
Oh, never a bad thing.
yeah. All right. Well, thank you so
Great.
much. Appreciate your time and getting in with me this morning here. You got a busy day ahead of you or what?
Yeah, I'm going into tattoo right now.
Cool. Well, then I won't keep you any longer. You have a great
Awesome.
day, lady.
You too. Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Thank you. Bye bye.